the 10-second test that predicts your longevity. You might think it's just another fitness fad or a quirky challenge, but let me tell you, it's far more profound than that. I've lived long enough to see all sorts of tests and theories about health and aging come and go, but this one holds something truly remarkable. It's simple, almost deceptively so. You stand on one leg for 10 seconds. That's it. No fancy equipment. No complicated routines. Just you, your body, and gravity doing its quiet, relentless work. But don't let its simplicity fool you. This little test carries within it the whisper of your future, a glimpse into how long and how well you might live. I remember the first time I tried it. I stood there, lifting one foot off the ground, feeling the world shift beneath me. It wasn't just my body I was balancing. It was my entire life. You see, the 10-second test isn't merely about standing on one leg. It's about how well your body can stabilize itself, how your muscles, nerves, and brain work together to keep you upright. And that, my friend, is a reflection of your overall health. It's a measure of vitality, of life itself. There's science behind it. Oh yes, plenty of it. Researchers found that those who couldn't manage the 10 seconds were almost twice as likely to die within the next 10 years compared to those who could. Think about that. 10 seconds could tell you about 10 years. It's not magic. It's biology. Balance is a sign of health that many people overlook. When you stand on one leg, your body must instantly coordinate countless tiny movements to keep you steady. Your brain communicates with your muscles. Your inner ear sends signals about your position. Your eyes fix on a spot to help you stay grounded. It's a delicate dance of systems working in harmony. But if one of these systems is struggling, your balance will waver. That's why this test is so revealing. It exposes weaknesses you might not even feel yet. And that's the beauty of it. It's not about how strong you are or how fast you can run. It's about how well your body can maintain its equilibrium. Now, you might wonder how this connects to longevity. The answer lies in the intricate relationship between balance and the aging process. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass, our bones become more brittle, and our nervous system starts to slow down. These changes affect our balance, increasing the risk of falls. And falls, well, they can be devastating. Especially as you get older. A simple fall can break a hip. It can lead to a downward spiral of immobility, illness, and loss of independence. It's a harsh truth, but one that needs to be faced. If you can't stand on one leg for 10 seconds today, what does that mean for your mobility 5, 10, or 20 years from now? But it's not just about falls. Poor balance can indicate other health issues too. It can be a sign of cardiovascular problems, neurological decline, or even cognitive issues. The body is a connected system, and when one part is off, others follow. That's why the 10-second test is such a powerful predictor of longevity. It's a reflection of your body's overall integrity. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter how old you are. Whether you're 30, 50, or 70, this test gives you a snapshot of your current state of health. It's like looking in a mirror that shows you not just who you are today, but who you're likely to become. I remember watching my grandfather struggle with his balance long before he showed any other signs of aging. He was still strong, still sharp as a tack, but he wobbled when he stood on one leg. He laughed it off, blamed it on stiff joints or old shoes. But now, looking back, I see the truth. His body was quietly signaling that the years were catching up. It was a warning, one that we didn't understand at the time. He lived a good life, but his last years were marked by falls and fractures that stole his independence. If only we had known then what this little test could reveal. But here's the good news. Balance isn't fixed. It's not like your height or eye color. It can be improved. With practice and patience, you can teach your body to stand steady again. Exercises like yoga, tai chi, and simple balance drills can strengthen the muscles and sharpen the reflexes needed to keep you upright. And as you improve your balance, you're not just increasing your chances of passing a test. You're building a more resilient body, one that can face the challenges of aging with strength and grace. That's the beauty of it. This isn't just a test of where you are. It's a map of where you can go. I tell you this not just as someone who has read the studies or seen the statistics. I tell you this as someone who has felt that trembling uncertainty, who has fought to regain balance and strength. I stand on one leg every day now, feeling the way my foot grips the ground, how my body sways and corrects itself. I do it not just to pass some test, but to remind myself that I am still here. Still capable. Still alive. It's a humbling practice. One that keeps me grounded in more ways than one. How was this test developed, and what scientific research supports its accuracy? The journey began with doctors and scientists who noticed something remarkable. They saw that balance wasn't just about standing upright. It was a reflection of overall health. It was a signal that the body's systems, muscles, nerves, brain, and heart, were working in harmony. The idea was simple yet profound. If a person could stand on one leg for 10 seconds, it meant their body was functioning well. If they couldn't, it might indicate underlying health issues, even if they felt fine. But ideas alone don't make science. Proof does. And so, researchers set out to test this theory with a determination that can only come from wanting to make a real difference in people's lives. I remember reading about the pivotal study that put this test on the map. It was a large-scale research project involving thousands of people. They were from all walks of life, different ages and health backgrounds. The participants were asked to stand on one leg for 10 seconds. Some managed it with ease. Others wobbled and stumbled, unable to maintain their balance. The researchers then tracked these people for years. They watched as life unfolded, as health rose and fell, as some continued strong while others faltered. It was life in all its unpredictability, captured and measured with scientific precision. What they found was astonishing. Those who couldn't stand on one leg for 10 seconds were nearly twice as likely to die within the next decade compared to those who could. Twice as likely. Let that sink in. A simple balance test could predict longevity with such accuracy. It sent ripples through the medical community. It was as if they had uncovered a crystal ball, one that didn't show the future in images but in seconds. But the researchers didn't stop there. They dug deeper, wanting to understand why. The answer lay in the interconnectedness of the human body. Balance isn't just about muscles. It involves the brain, which calculates your position. It involves the nervous system, which sends lightning-fast signals to adjust your posture. It involves the cardiovascular system, which supplies oxygen to keep you steady. It even involves your eyes, which anchor your sense of space. If any of these systems are weakened or out of sync, balance suffers. And if balance suffers, it means the body is struggling. That struggle, that lack of harmony, is what shortens life. It's the body's way of saying something is wrong before you even feel sick. This is where the beauty of the 10-second test truly shines. It's not about diagnosing a specific disease. It's about revealing hidden vulnerabilities. A person might have high blood pressure, declining muscle strength, or early signs of cognitive decline, but feel perfectly fine. Yet, they might struggle to stand on one leg. That struggle is the red flag. It's the early warning that something is off, something that could lead to a fall, a heart attack, or a stroke down the road. That's why this test is so powerful. It sees what we can't. I've watched people take this test, some laughing it off, others looking worried as they wobble. I've seen faces change when they learn what it means, the realization dawning that this isn't just a party trick. It's a glimpse into the future. But it's not just about fear. It's about hope. Because this test isn't just a prediction. It's a call to action. If you struggle to stand, you can do something about it. You can work on your balance, strengthen your muscles, and improve your health. That's the most beautiful part of all. This test gives you a chance to change your destiny. The scientific community continues to study and refine this test. They're exploring its connections to other health markers, seeing how it can be combined with other simple assessments to create an even clearer picture of longevity. It's becoming a tool not just for predicting lifespan, but for improving life quality. I think about how far we've come, from crude guesses to a 10-second window into our own future. And I marvel at how something so simple can be so profound. Are there hidden health issues that poor balance could reveal before other symptoms appear? I've seen it with my own eyes, more times than I care to count. People who thought they were fine, who felt strong and healthy, suddenly realizing they couldn't stand on one leg for even 10 seconds. The look on their faces when they wobbled, arms flailing, trying to steady themselves. It's a look of surprise, sometimes even fear. And it should be. Because that little wobble can mean so much more than just weak muscles. It can be a sign that something deeper is wrong. Something that hasn't shown itself yet, but is lurking just beneath the surface. Let's start with the brain. Most people don't realize how much the brain is involved in balance. It's constantly calculating your position, making tiny adjustments to keep you upright. But if your balance is off, it could mean your brain isn't working as smoothly as it should. I've read studies that link poor balance to early signs of cognitive decline. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? The idea that struggling to stand on one leg could mean your memory and thinking skills are fading. But it makes sense. If the brain can't coordinate your movements, it might also struggle with other tasks like remembering names or focusing on conversations. It's the same brain, after all. And if one part is failing, others might be too. But the brain doesn't work alone. It relies on a complex network of nerves that send signals to your muscles, telling them when to contract and relax. If those signals are delayed or scrambled, balance suffers. That's why poor balance can sometimes be an early warning sign of neurological diseases like Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis. These conditions don't just appear overnight. They start quietly, slowly damaging the nervous system before more obvious symptoms like tremors or muscle weakness show up. But balance is sensitive. It picks up on those subtle changes, revealing the problem before it becomes visible to the naked eye. I've known people who dismissed their poor balance as clumsiness, only to find out later they were in the early stages of a neurological disorder. I remember one man in particular, a strong, vibrant fellow who laughed when he couldn't stand on one leg during a routine checkup. A year later, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. It broke my heart to see him struggle, to watch the disease take its toll. But his balance was the first clue, the first sign that something was wrong. If only he had listened to his body's warning. If only he had known what that wobble really meant. Poor balance can also reveal hidden issues with the heart and blood vessels. You see, balance requires a steady flow of oxygen to the muscles and brain. If your heart is struggling or your blood vessels are clogged, that flow is interrupted. Your brain doesn't get enough oxygen, and suddenly, you're swaying, unsteady on your feet. This is why poor balance is sometimes linked to cardiovascular problems like high blood pressure, heart disease, or even an increased risk of stroke. It's the body's way of saying, "I'm not getting enough fuel." It's a warning that your heart and blood vessels might be weaker than you think. I've always believed that the body knows more than we give it credit for. It whispers, nudges, and sometimes shouts when things aren't right. And balance is one of its most powerful signals. It's not just about muscles or coordination. It's about the whole system: brain, nerves, heart, blood vessels, all working together in harmony. When balance falters, it means that harmony is broken. It means something isn't working as it should. And if you ignore it, if you brush it off as nothing, you're missing a chance to catch a problem before it gets worse. I remember an old friend of mine, a woman full of life and laughter. She always joked about her clumsiness, how she couldn't walk in a straight line to save her life. But I watched her stumble more and more, her balance growing worse with each passing year. Then one day, she collapsed. A stroke, they said. It was sudden, devastating. But looking back, I realize it wasn't sudden at all. Her body had been warning her for years. Her poor balance was a sign that her blood vessels were struggling, that her brain wasn't getting the oxygen it needed. She just didn't know how to listen. This is why I urge people not to take balance for granted. It's not just about standing on one leg or walking a straight line. It's about understanding what your body is trying to tell you. It's about catching health issues before they become crises. It's about being proactive, taking control of your health instead of waiting for a disaster. I've seen too many people suffer because they ignored the signs, because they didn't understand the power of balance. Is the 10-second test equally predictive across different age groups, genders, and body types? You see, balance is a delicate dance between strength, coordination, and agility. And that dance is different for everyone. When you stand on one leg, your brain, muscles, and nerves work together to keep you steady. But how well they do that depends on many things. Age is one of the biggest factors. As we grow older, our muscles weaken, our reflexes slow, and our sense of balance starts to fade. It's a natural part of aging, like wrinkles or gray hair. But it means that older people, even those who are healthy and active, might struggle more with the 10-second test. I've seen strong, wise elders lose their balance and laugh it off, not realizing it was a sign of time's quiet toll on their bodies. Does that mean the test is less accurate for older folks? Not exactly. It just means the bar is set differently. You can't compare the balance of a 70-year-old to that of a 20-year-old and expect them to be the same. Researchers know this, of course. That's why they look at age groups separately, comparing people to others their own age. It's not about standing perfectly still. It's about standing better than most people your age. If an older person can hold steady for 10 seconds while others their age are wobbling or falling, it's a good sign they're healthier than their peers. It's not about perfection. It's about resilience. Gender also plays a role, though maybe not in the way you'd expect. Men and women are built differently, with different muscle distributions and centers of gravity. Women often have wider hips, which can make balancing a bit trickier. But they also tend to have better flexibility and agility, which can help them steady themselves. Men, on the other hand, often have more muscle mass, which gives them strength but sometimes less flexibility. Does this mean one gender is better at the test than the other? Not necessarily. It just means they use different strategies to stay upright. I've watched men grip the ground with sheer force while women sway gracefully, adjusting with tiny movements. Both ways work. Both show balance. Then there are body types. This is where it gets really interesting. A tall, lanky person has a higher center of gravity than a shorter, stockier person. This means they're more likely to sway or tip. It doesn't mean they're unhealthy. It just means they have a different body to balance. Likewise, someone carrying extra weight might struggle more, not because they're weaker, but because they're balancing more mass. But that doesn't mean they're doomed to fail. I've seen heavier folks stand like rocks, steady and unshakable, because they had the muscle strength and coordination to carry their weight with ease. It's not about how much you weigh. It's about how well you control that weight. So, is the 10-second test equally predictive for everyone? Not exactly. It's more accurate when you compare apples to apples, young to young, old to old, men to men, women to women, and people of similar body types. It's not a one-size-fits-all measure. It's a window into how well your body is aging, how well it's adapting, and how well it's functioning compared to others like you. It's not about beating some universal standard. It's about standing strong in your own category. I've seen people feel defeated by this test, feeling like failures because they couldn't balance as long as someone younger or thinner or more athletic. But that's not the point. It's not a competition. It's a reflection of where you are and a guide to where you could be. If you struggle, it's not a death sentence. It's a nudge to take better care of yourself, to build strength and agility, to keep moving and keep fighting the pull of time. If you succeed, it's a sign you're on the right track, that you're aging well and staying strong. Either way, it's a chance to listen to your body and learn from it. How can someone safely practice or improve their balance to potentially increase their lifespan? If you want to improve your balance and perhaps add years to your life, the first step is to understand that balance is not just about standing on one leg. It is a delicate dance between strength, flexibility, coordination, and focus. And to master this dance, you must practice with patience and respect for your body. Do not rush. Do not force. Begin gently, and your body will respond kindly. I always tell people to start with the basics. Stand on one leg for a few seconds. Use a chair or wall for support if needed. It is not about being perfect. It is about learning to trust your body again. Feel the ground beneath your foot. Feel how your muscles adjust, how your toes grip, how your ankle steadies you. When you feel ready, let go of that support, even if just for a second. Celebrate that moment of independence, no matter how brief. Once you can stand for a few seconds, challenge yourself a bit more. Close your eyes. It sounds simple, but without sight, your body must rely entirely on touch and inner awareness. It is humbling, even frightening at first, but it teaches you to trust yourself. And trust is at the heart of balance. If closing your eyes feels too daunting, try turning your head slowly from side to side. This shifts your center of gravity, teaching your body to adapt to change. And that, my friend, is a lesson not just for balance, but for life itself. Do not think balance is just about standing still. Movement is just as important. Practice walking heel to toe in a straight line, like walking on a tightrope. It sounds playful, almost childlike, but it trains your coordination and focus. If that feels too easy, walk backward. It forces your mind to engage, to calculate each step. And it teaches you to trust the space behind you, a powerful lesson in letting go of fear. If you want to strengthen your balance even further, consider yoga or Tai Chi. I have watched people transform through these ancient practices, moving from stiffness and uncertainty to grace and confidence. Yoga teaches you to hold poses that challenge your stability while connecting with your breath. It is about balance in the body and in the mind. Start with simple poses like the tree pose or the chair pose. Do not worry if you wobble. Every shake and sway is your body learning, growing stronger. Tai Chi, on the other hand, is all about fluid movement. It is like dancing slowly with invisible currents, teaching your body to move smoothly and deliberately. It calms the mind, eases tension, and strengthens every muscle involved in balance. I have seen even the most rigid and anxious people find peace and stability through its gentle motions. But balance is not just about exercises. It is about the little choices you make every day. Choose to walk more often. Climb the stairs instead of taking the elevator. Walk on uneven surfaces, like grass or sand, to challenge your stability. Even standing on one leg while brushing your teeth helps. These small acts of balance keep your muscles and nerves alert, reminding your body of its purpose. And never underestimate the power of strong legs and a strong core. If your legs are weak, they will tremble beneath you. If your core is soft, you will sway like a reed in the wind. Strengthen them with squats, lunges, and planks. You do not need heavy weights or fancy machines. Your body weight is enough. Just move with intention, with respect for your body's limits. And as you train, remember to stretch. Tight muscles restrict movement. They limit your range of motion, making balance harder to maintain. Stretch your calves, your hamstrings, your hips. Loosen your shoulders and neck. Flexibility is the silent partner of balance, the hidden key that keeps you agile and ready. I have watched people who once feared falling regain their confidence, their independence, their joy. I have seen them walk tall again, no longer looking down in fear but looking forward in hope. Balance is more than just a physical ability. It is a state of mind, a way of moving through life with stability and grace. It teaches patience, humility, and perseverance. It teaches you to rise after you fall, to stand firm when the ground beneath you seems to shift. What other simple tests can be paired with this one for a more complete picture of longevity? One of the most telling tests you can add is the sit-to-stand test. It is as simple as it sounds. Sit down on the floor, cross-legged, and then stand back up without using your hands or knees for support. Sounds easy, right? But you would be surprised. This test reveals so much more than just flexibility. It uncovers your leg strength, your core stability, your coordination, and even your cardiovascular fitness. You see, getting up from the ground requires power and balance working together. It shows whether your muscles are strong enough to lift you and if your joints are flexible enough to bend and straighten with ease. But more than that, it shows how well your heart and lungs support those movements. If you are gasping for air after standing, that says something, doesn't it? I have seen proud, capable men brought low by this test. They thought they were strong until they could not rise without a helping hand. But that is the beauty of this challenge. It is humbling and eye-opening, showing you exactly where you need to grow stronger. And the research backs this up. Studies have shown that people who struggle with the sit-to-stand test are at a much higher risk of falling, becoming frail, and even dying earlier. But here is the good news. Just like balance, this skill can be improved. Practice sitting and standing every day. Build strength in your legs and core. Stretch your hips and knees to keep them flexible. Each time you rise without effort, you are defying age itself. Another simple yet powerful test is the grip strength test. I know what you are thinking. What can the strength of my handshake possibly tell me about how long I will live? More than you can imagine. Grip strength is not just about having strong hands. It reflects your overall muscle strength and endurance. It shows how well your nervous system communicates with your muscles. It even reveals the health of your heart and blood vessels. Scientists have found again and again that weaker grip strength is linked to a higher risk of heart disease, stroke, and even dementia. It is a predictor of frailty, disability, and yes, shorter lifespan. All you need is a simple hand dynamometer to measure your grip. But if you do not have one, do not worry. Just try squeezing something firm, like a rubber ball or a towel. Notice how strong your grip feels. Notice if one hand is weaker than the other. If you feel your grip fading quickly, that is a sign that your endurance needs work. But do not despair. You can train your grip with simple exercises. Squeeze that ball daily. Practice carrying heavier grocery bags or holding onto a pull-up bar. Strengthen your forearms with wrist curls. Every time your grip tightens, so does your hold on life. Then, there is the walking speed test. It sounds almost laughable. Walking, something we do without thinking, could predict how long we will live? But yes, it can. Studies have shown that people who walk slower are more likely to suffer from chronic diseases and die earlier than those who walk briskly. Walking speed reflects your cardiovascular health, your leg strength, your coordination, and even your mental sharpness. It shows how efficiently your body moves and how much energy you have to spare. To test yourself, find a flat, safe path and measure about 10 meters. Walk that distance at your usual pace and time yourself. Then do it again, walking as fast as you comfortably can. Compare the times. If you are slower than expected, it may be a sign that your heart, lungs, or muscles need strengthening. But speed can be trained. Walk more each day. Take longer strides. Pump your arms to add momentum. Walk up hills to build power. Each step forward is a step toward a longer life. And finally, pair these tests with the chair rise test. Sit in a chair and stand up as many times as you can in 30 seconds without using your hands. This test measures leg strength, endurance, and balance all at once. It shows whether you have the power to lift yourself and the stamina to keep going. People who score low on this test are at greater risk of falls, disability, and early death. But once again, you can train this ability. Practice standing and sitting every day. Strengthen your thighs and glutes with squats and lunges. Stretch your ankles and knees to keep them mobile. With each rise, you defy gravity and time itself. So there you have it. Pair the 10-second test with the sit-to-stand test, the grip strength test, the walking speed test, and the chair rise test. Together, they give you a full picture of your physical health and your potential for a long life. They show you where you are strong and where you need to grow. And they remind you that age is not just about years, but about the strength, speed, and grace with which you live those years. I have seen people transform through these tests. I have watched them go from stumbling and struggling to walking tall and moving freely. I have seen their confidence grow as their strength returns. And I have witnessed the joy that comes from regaining independence and vitality. That is the true gift of these tests. They do not just predict your future. They give you the tools to change it. They give you hope. So take the tests. Face them with courage and curiosity. Use them as a guide, not a judgment. And then rise, walk, grip, and balance your way to a longer, fuller life. If you liked today's discussion, don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with every video we release. And yes, don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Every comment is special to us. Your feedback helps us improve further. We'll continue to meet you in every new video on this channel, so until next time, take care.